I'd love to share this story with you, but it was almost 7 years ago, 11 days before Thanksgiving, 2013. My neighbor and I had just run a marathon, and she was just excited about how she felt, looked amazing, was talking about how great it was. I said, oh my gosh, what is it? I had just finished my second Whole 30. And she said, it's Isogenics. Well, guys, I knew the industry because like Amanda said, so when I was 29, I walked, so I went to Columbia. I came back from New York City to where I grew up in suburban Philadelphia, had met my husband. My friends thought I was insane because I went to work for this man as one of his earliest employees in what we called the mansion. And what if you drove by it, you would say, that's no mansion, that's a dilapidated house in not a great section, not downtown. And my friends thought I was absolutely nuts. I had had an incredible, if anybody's in the business finance world, Goldman Sachs had offered me an amazing position. I promptly turned it down. I walked away from one of the best as a young 20-year-old, 20-something-year-old. We had one of the most ridiculous apartments in New York City for kids because our friend of mine's dad owned it. I lived on a trundle bed, and sometimes there was someone else in the trundle bed with me, like one of our girlfriends. But Todd Oldham was our neighbor in this apartment in New York City. My friends thought I was nuts because I had met my husband. I moved back. I go to work for this man as one of his earliest employees. They thought I was nuts. And remember, I want you to just hear this in my voice, is that people will think you are nuts until they think you're brilliant. One of the best things anyone ever told me, hustle so hard until your haters ask if you're hiring. That will happen for you if you stay consistent and you do everything Amanda tells you to do. But so my friends thought I was crazy until I knew this man had something. I worked 1 to 10 p.m. in customer service because I was so convinced that he had a vision. He would tell you, I have this vision of what I'm going to do. He bought me in. I was sold, hook, line, and sinker. I knew it to my core. To the average person, you would have never believed it. So I used to go and sit in his sales department and say, like, I could do this. Eventually, years pass, I become his global head of sales. We sell that company, which he has made me an owner in, for $250 million to Citibank. I'm 29 years old. Did I make a fortune? I made a lot of money for a 29-year-old, but there were a lot of people involved in VC. So I always want people to hear that. But as part of that acquisition, we stayed at Citibank for 4 years, all of us. And so we ran this integration. Well, guess what? One of the verticals I ran for the first company, eCount, and now in the acquisition for Citibank was network marketing. We were paying commissions to people like all of us, right? So Isogenics isn't issuing payments out of Phoenix. They're not, neither is Herbalife, Amway, Avon, Mary Kay. They're sending a file to a bank. And Citibank was the bank of record for so many of those companies. And so I was a compensation plan expert for the industry. After we leave Citibank, we have another company. It's social media technology. So when you hear my story, if you could design a network marketer, that's a decent background. Compensation plan expert for the industry, social media technology. I had a decent background. So when you hear my story, I want you to know I had a bunch of advantages over a lot of people, right? I had a lot of intelligence. So I am, though, the person who says they're never going to do network marketing. Has anyone on the call said, I'm never doing network marketing? Not one of those things, not going to be one of those people? Okay. I knew the industry. I used to go to conventions for all kinds of companies, and people would say, you love those people more than anyone. And I would come back to the office and say, who wouldn't love these people? They've got the life figured out. They're happy. They clap for each other. They found out a way to make money. None of them seem to have jobs. I thought these people were just amazing in this industry, but I wasn't going to be one. My neighbor has this great product success. And she said, it's not going to work. I'm not even going to get it. I know that company. I don't know their products. When I was at Citibank, we could never take products from Isogenics and not Amway, from Herbalife and not Arbonne. You could never accept anything. I'd go to meetings with, Pat, if anyone knows Patty Raphael, I was meeting with Patty 13, 14 years ago. You could never take any product. Okay. So I don't know anything about the products, but I just know it won't work because I've done so many things. She says to me, well, you get your money back. So you could try it and just see. That's a great thing to tell people, guys. It's one of the things that makes this such an easy decision. And so because I knew myself, I said to 5 girlfriends, guys, try this with me. Because if you do it with me, I won't quit. And neither will you. We'll have fun. We're going to either get our sexy back or our money back. Right? If you're taking notes, write this down. Make it an easy decision for people. What's your risk? I just say to people, it's the lowest risk decision you'll ever make. Certainty, people will do things that you say because you're certain. I said, the only one of two things is going to happen. We're going to get our sexy back or our money back. Do you guys want to change with me? Let's have fun. What's the worst thing that'll happen? We'll laugh a lot this month. Make my husband do it. So I enroll 6 people. A woman calls me on the phone, stranger, comes up with my caller ID. I answer the phone. I'm walking in from my office. My husband's here with all our kids. And she said, hey, my name is Janny Elo. I saw in reports that you enrolled 6 people. And I want to tell you about the opportunity of Isagenix. Guys, be bold. Check your reports. When you see somebody that does that, reach out to them. Reach out through that whole downline and talk to people and say, could have somebody that's just interested in sharing or just a good sharer. So I say to her, oh my goodness. And you guys know my background, right? So I'm like, oh, that's so nice. This sweet woman. I could probably tell her how to grow her business, make more money. But I said, listen, thank you so much. I'm good. We thought we were going to sell our second company. We've got all these kids. We own a bunch of investment properties in New Jersey, in another state. We're good. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate you reaching out to me. What a kind, that's very kind of you. And she said, very important thing. If you're taking notes, make sure you ask people this. Do you mind if I tell you my story? Stories have such power. When you tell your story, you're more convicted and bought in. And people buy your conviction. They buy your belief. So she tells me her story. Does anybody know Janny that's on this call? Do you guys know who she is? Okay, she's a legend. She's the 96 millionaire in the company, I think, 69 maybe. Her husband played in the NBA, professional basketball. Her husband's a legend. He played for 14 seasons in the NBA. He's the leading scorer for the Cavaliers before LeBron James. The guy is an absolute legend. So she tells me this story, and I said, wow, this is amazing. She said, listen, I didn't need the money or a job. I got a hold of these products and I just couldn't stop telling people. I knew they needed them. And she said, if I can be honest with you, I'm really good at making people money. She said, in fact, I have this vision to bring tired parents home from jobs that don't serve them and give families financial breathing room. Guys, I heard her conviction and that statement. And I was a mom with a live-in nanny. I traveled so much. I was chairman's preferred on US Air when that was an airline. Crazy. Those words spoke to my heart. I was like, what a sweet and wonderful lady. What a beautiful vision. But we had built our whole life. We had bought a lot of investment properties, a second home, big life. The more money people make, I don't care if you see people making a lot of money. You know what happens when you make a lot of money? You spend to the level you earn. Everybody is the same level of broke. I don't care who you are. Janny Elo didn't need the money, but she spent. Everybody needs the money. When people say that to me, I laugh. Like, are you crazy? I mean, if Ivanka Trump was here, I would think she would need the opportunity. She might be interested in building a financial wall around her family. Everyone is interested. People need what we have. I don't care who they are. There's no one. Janny Elo is $1 million earner in this company, and she moves and shakes like nobody else. Doesn't need the money. Baloney. That whole concept blows my mind. So she said this great statement. I had this vision to bring tired parents home from jobs that don't serve them. I was in a job that did not serve me, and I was tired. And give families financial breathing room. And she just spoke to like, wow. But I just thought like, there's no way that I can make the kind of money we need. So she asked me the second question. The second question after, do you mind if I tell you my story? She tells me her vision. And then her second question, guys, extremely important question, especially as we seek to differentiate from a lot of the bad actors that are out there in companies right now. She said, how much would it take to make this worth your time? There are people right now, guys, that have a massive gap in their income. They either have extraordinary job uncertainty like they've never had before, or they have a differential. We're building a team with a lot of women in the luxury travel industry, women who's had these extreme incomes that are now decimated by 90%. They count on travel occurring, these huge travel budgets that companies have, or that people are having for retreats, or that high-end clients have gone. People are looking for what we have. We need to know how much would it take to make this worth your time. So I tell her an extraordinary number. And I think she is going to head for the absolute hills, the sweet woman, great conversation. She's going to run. Here, when I told her the number, she said, let's go. Did not hesitate, not for 1 second. Let's go. Confidence and conviction that I was like, wait, let's go? You're serious. Let's go. We got this. Let's go. If you're serious about this, let's go. And so I thought she's either crazy or brilliant, and I'm going to figure out which. So I said, what do you think I should do? She tells me, like, here's what to do. She literally told me, she was on me the next thing. It wasn't like this, here's the whole comp plan. Oh my goodness, all these things, executive leadership bonus. She didn't give me all that. She said, this is what's next. 2 people. You did that. Crystal manager. Crystal, okay, now we're going to Crystal director. Crystal executive. Awesome. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, go. And she was on me. Who else are we going to help? Who can we serve today? Who can we help? How can I help you? And I was so busy. She said, if you can't tell, I'm from the East Coast, born and raised on the East Coast, really fast talker. And she said that I was probably like, I can't even imagine how she stuck with me, because I have 3 kids. I'm running this company. I think we're going to sell it. I'm traveling like crazy. Hurricane Sandy had just hit the East Coast, and our investment properties were all in the Jersey Shore. So if you guys remember what happened, it was not great. One of our properties like almost had to be taken to the ground. Wild. And I'm like, okay, we're all these people. And she said she would still be talking, and I would be like hanging up the phone. But she stuck with me because she said, she knew that our second home is at the Jersey Shore. We love the beach. My kids can only ever go on weekends. And she used to speak this into me all the time. She would say, she said, those years are so precious with your kids. They pass in a blink. The best, most juiciest memories that I have are growing up with our kids at the lake. And she would just tell me about like all these memories that she had with her kids. And she would say, I just envision that you will be there. You'll spend the summers there with your kids, boogie boarding and surfing and having so much fun. And she had this picture. I used to think in the beginning when she would tell me that picture for my life, I would think, this woman is crazy. There is no chance that is ever going to happen. There's no chance. I'm on this hamster wheel for life. And she just kept telling me. And the more she was telling me, the more I thought, maybe she's right. And so we went really fast. I mean, I'm going to tell you really fast. And there was a point. So 11 days before Thanksgiving, we get started. By the end of May, we had created something pretty darn special. 6 of my girlfriends went executive, to tell you how fast. I went executive, 6 of them went executive, because we were all going together. And when I'm building people now, I'm helping them to recreate that scenario. This is one of the only compensation plans in this industry, this collaborative. All boats truly rise with the tide. So I remember getting my neighbor at the beach, another person who by all accounts would never do network marketing. And I said, Adrienne, we're going to the top of this company. I've seen what it takes. Get everyone you love. She grabbed her sister, a couple of her best friends. I mean, they've all created extraordinary things. They all went executive. They were like executive duplicating machines. Anyway, so by that end of May, my oldest daughter, Avery, I was running to catch a train. She's walking out of her bedroom. I'm like trying to put my jacket and my shoes on, running down my hall. Sure, I'm going to miss my train. She's coming out just as I'm coming down, if that makes sense. I almost like run into her. And it was like seeing her for the very first time, because she was wearing these jeans that were 4 inches too short. Like she had gone into her closet. It had been so long since I had gone in there to clean it out, and she had grown so much. And anybody else a parent here? Anybody have children? So if you've ever had that moment where you're like, look at your child, and like, yeah, when did you grow this much? And I will tell you guys, if you've ever had a repetitive thought that just a tape that plays in your head, and all the way to 30th Street Station, I'm in my car going, I'm missing it. I'm missing it. For what? I'm going to get to the end of my life and just realize it all passed me by. And I got on the train that day and I'm like, this isogenics thing, I think I could do it. And I knew when we were about to sell this company, it was going to be, if you've ever been part of an acquisition, it was going to be 2 years of road showing, exhaustion, emotional highs and lows, distraction. And I just thought, I'm going to walk away. So I get on the train. My best friend lives in New York City. I call her. She's like, just power woman, mom. And I was like, Paige, I'm walking away. I'm going to leave my People Links equity on the table. I'm going to walk away and go see what I can do with isogenics. And though she claps loudest for me of anyone I've ever known, she said, you cannot go. Are you okay? You cannot go sell shakes out of your trunk before this company is sold. Is everything all right? Let's have dinner tonight and let's talk about it. But I'm concerned. And so I said, Paige, I drive an SUV. I don't even have a trunk. So I'm not going to go sell shakes out of a trunk. But guys, I had this vision already, just like Jenny Yu. I said, I'm going to go and create a global distribution for products I'm obsessed with. I'm going to go create impact on bodies and bank accounts from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and across the country. I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to set people free. Like, I'm going to get free. I'm going to set people free. I'm going to see what I can do. And I will tell you, not then, but at a certain point, I remember she came and heard me train on stage at NYKL, the first time I ever spoke. She came and I shared that story. They're like, hustle so hard until your haters ask if you're hiring. Because I made $1 million in Isagenix. We were announced as millionaires number 168 in 26 months. Not typical. That's not typical. There's a lot of people that it takes a lot longer than that. But I had a lot of accelerations, right? I've told you that. But I will just tell you, if it's possible for me as a hot mess express, you can tell like things aren't smooth here. It's possible for anyone. I got a lot of kids. And so our story evolves that if you've ever heard anything about our story that, I then hear another Isagenix leader talk on stage about foster care and adoption. And I just feel like that was so on my heart. I would have loved all my life to do something like that. And just, there wasn't the time or the resources to be able to do it. My husband and I became foster parents. We've had 9 placements. We adopted our daughter. It's almost 1 year. She's 3.5. I've had her since she was 3 months old. And we've become advocates for foster care. And we're looking at possibly getting another placement of twin infants, twin boys. And so we often have 6 kids. And I just think, man, I was an only child, never babysat. My parents were older, never babysat. There weren't any kids around. I'm an only child. I didn't really know anybody. No one probably would have trusted me. I wasn't that kind of kid. I had a live-in nanny for 6.5 years that helped with my own kids. And then to be a foster parent, it's not natural. It's not, I work really hard to do what Amanda does so beautifully and naturally. It's not my natural, but if in this chaos, if we can still be building, I'm literally just adding up leader and action points for myself and my team. Like, we still can be doing this with all of this. I just want you guys to know there's never been a better time in this company. And I'm so excited about it.
Okay, Jessica, I get choked up every time I've heard your story, and I've heard it so many times. It's so powerful. Like, you truly never know what is going on in someone's life, or what really is. I think the question of, if time and, money were no issue, what would you want to do with your life? Right.
Yes.
I think you just really don't know. And a lot of people haven't ever thought of it. Right. I mean, so many people either stop dreaming or don't dream, or have never dreamt, or that term is just so, off the wall to a lot of people. And I think your story just resonates with so many people. So I love that. And I've loved your family evolve so incredibly much over the years. I forget we were so close to reaching millionaire. I forget we were so close.
2 weeks away.
I know.
I
didn't even realize that until you shared that. Yeah. Okay, so what I would love to hear, because I feel like you do this so well and you've done this so well since the beginning, is connecting. Yeah. And I think because you had such a strong conviction right from the start, you were so intentional with connections and connecting with people. And, you could wrap in daily actions and all of those things kind of along with it. But I think your gift is really to connect with people and make them feel like they're the only person that matters, right? The only person in the room. And so how have you built, that consistent system, and what do you do every single day? And I think regardless of, from the beginning till now, a lot of it's the same.
Yeah. Daily consistent action is something that I'm just so passionate about, and I've stayed in it. And there's times when I'm better and times that I'm worse, and that's life. You guys have to just accept that. And if you've been out of the game, we do something called the comeback tour. You're never so out of the game. Isagenix changes. You can always come back. And it's the best way. Kathy Cooper taught me this. The best way to come back and feel like you're back in the vibe, enroll someone. That feels so good. Remember how that feels to just get somebody started and know you're going to change their life. So in terms of connecting, though, I love this. The first thing, and I think my team probably looks a lot different than other people, other teams in network marketing, for a couple reasons. I'm not looking for anyone with a pulse. I can just say that to you guys, right? Is that okay if I'm really honest with you? I'm not just looking for anyone with a heartbeat. You ever get those people in other companies, they send you a message and they're like, remember me from 2nd grade? spell your name wrong. They're like, oh, I've tried a new skincare line. I'm now have no crow's feet. Things are going great for me. I'm making tons of money. I have this awesome team, tons of new friends. And they just want, you're just a pulse to them, a heartbeat, right? The worst messaging ever. They just want anyone to join. But honestly, I have worked with people that I don't really care for in the past. In corporate America, you had no choice. This is a business, you get to pick who you work with. And so I'm really intentional about looking for people who have specific qualities and they're in specific worlds that collide with mine, right? We share values. People ask me, where do you find people? Guys, I have more people than I have time. Here's why. So the first thing I love to do is I love to be involved in communities that I care about, right? And people go, oh my gosh, there are so many foster parents on your team. There's a lot of people on your team that have twins. It's not a coincidence. I'm looking for people like that. I'm in pages and groups. I join organizations like twins clubs, foster parent community support. I'm in a lot of these things that I love. People come into Dicey Jenks, they go, I have got to enroll every gym owner in my county. I look at them like, are you a gym owner? No, I'm not. I'm a mom of 3 kids and I love to crochet and I drive a minivan. Well, guess what, guys? There are a lot of moms that crochet and drive minivans, and you guys will have a minivan mafia long before someone in a gym is going to want to join you because you don't know what they know. They don't know what you know, frankly. I bet you could build a much stronger team with the minivan mafia than you ever could with the gym owners. Find people who love what you love, who share your values. There's an election coming up. You know, people are real passionate. If you love politics, go find your people. It's really hard if you like one candidate and you're like, oh, I got a pulse and heartbeat over here, and they like another candidate and they're like so polar opposite from my values. That's not like the most, you win a lot of free trips in this. I want to travel. People are like, yeah, fist bump your soul. Like, I love it. We just macrame'd something. Like, I just baked a cake and decorated, and me too. Like, don't you want to hang out with people that are like us? And here's what happens. When you find those kinds of people, your team duplicates with people that you're going to be like, we have the coolest organization in the whole world. Because here's what happens. We're pack animals. Amanda hangs out with really cool people. I would like all of her friends. So if I bring Amanda into my business, she brings in her friends. They're going to be just like her because we're pack animals. People with abundance mindsets who have big vision, are positive, clap for other people. Don't hang out with broke people on a couch like growing like fungus on their toenails. Like, they don't hang out together. You hang out with people like you. So if you want to build a great team, you want to start with people that you like, you chill with, you to hang out, have the dinner, win free trips with. I tell people, make that list. That's the first list I want to make. Who, if I was going to have a girls' weekend, can I send and I call? If I call Melissa Tapper and I go, Melissa, let's have a girls' weekend. Melissa's the kind of person, she's popping out texts to people. She goes, all right, 3 people are in. She's bringing sangria. She's bringing the cupcakes, because she has that kind of personality. She's an influential person. You want to call those people that you call and say, hey, Kim, what's the best workout pants you have? Where should I buy my next pair of leggings? I need leggings. Ashley, I need a restaurant. Where am I going? Like, I like to call people whose opinions I value. And so connect with those kinds of people. When I'm in groups, there's one thing I do. Like, I'm in a lot of these groups with foster parenting or HIIT workouts or recipes, Instapot. I'm in all these recipes. So what I try to do is I try to add value. I try to like throw in some posts. I threw in a post the other day my adopted daughter's Black. So I'm in a lot, and I spend a ton of time on transracial adoption pages. And so I added something that was like, made me smile in this transracial adoption page. And a lot of people engaged and said like, oh, I like what you said there. I like what you're thinking. And it just came on, and I looked at their pages, and here's the frank reality. Like, I profiled them because I could tell like we would be friends in real life. I love what they post. They're funny. Lots of people, they have really cute families. Lots of people engage with them. 300 people like a picture of a brown banana. You're my person. Like, you have social influence. I would hang out with you in real life. If we were neighbors, I would borrow milk from you. You're awesome. And so I remodeled my office and I don't have my whiteboard in a good place, but I'm just going to tell you guys an acronym I teach people about reaching out. Are you guys okay with that? You can write it on your own paper. I'll try to write it here. Let me see. I'll try to write with a better marker. But what I teach people about messaging is an acronym or a formula. I hate scripts, but this formula is called, it's called OO. It's intentionally ironic because a lot of people don't like reaching out to people. They think messaging is weird. So can you see this at all? The first letter is E. E stands for edify. So I might say, Patty, you have to be authentic in edifying people. Patty, you're one of the most influential, driven, magnetic personalities of anyone that I've ever met. So that's edify the person in an authentic way. If somebody feels that way about themselves, they'll hear the authenticity. The first W is tell them what you have. I have a hold of an opportunity that is in the health and wellness world. It's a virtual franchise. Tell them what. Describe it however you want. I have a hold of this amazing opportunity in health and wellness. It's an opportunity to have a virtual franchise to impact bodies and bank accounts. Tell them why they should care. Remember when I was talking about like Sandy messaging me from second grade and her message about her crow's feet and her team? The wrong thing to do with messaging people, when you read it, it's all about you. The message should be, why should they care, right? I don't care about her crow's feet and her new friends and her money. I care about what? What's in it for me? So that's the second W. What's in it for them? If I knew Mandy better, I'd say, Mandy, I know how much you wanted to go to Fiji. I believe there's an opportunity for you to pay cash. And you're getting married. I believe there's an opportunity to go on the honeymoon of your dreams without incurring any debt. Tell them why they should care. And then the last one we miss all the time, tell them what you want them to do. They're like, that sounds awesome. What now what? I'm interested. But they left me hanging with like an ellipse there at the end. I don't know what to do. Hey, will you chat with me for 5 minutes? And so if I'm reaching out to people to connect, this is not, and by the way, I'm skipping past that. This is someone I've already engaged with. If it's in a group and I'm saying, hey, I write to people and I say exactly what I think. I say, we would be friends in real life. Part of my daily activity is going through and adding value or complimenting people on things with no expectation of any kind of isogenics return. So as an example, people, guys, promise me you will not be those people who use social media as a massive distraction. That's an excuse for why you're not building your business. Because don't let me lie. Sometimes I'm watching videos, cats on Roombas come up, and I'm like down the rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden I'm watching a video of like somebody watching someone else do a TikTok, and I'm like, where did the time go? I've gotten sucked down the rabbit hole. Don't use social media like that. Use social media as research, as a connection tool. So as an example, I'm there and I see Jade and I'm like, Jade, are you joking me with how hot you looked going out Saturday night? Jade, I loved what you shared about positivity the other day. I hope you don't mind. I just shared it as a post. I thought it was awesome. Well done. Sophia, you got to tell me where you have gotten your dog trained, because I saw the dog tricks and I couldn't believe how awesome it was. And then, so I'm reaching out to them just to tell them how great they are. The other thing I'm doing every day is birthday messages. If you're not doing birthday messages, it's the easiest thing. Not only do this, teach your team to do this. Facebook tells you every day whose birthday it is. So you tell them, you say, hold your phone up, push them. 1 second, please. 1 second, guys. You hold your phone up and you say, hey, Betsy, I saw it was your birthday today. I wanted to wish you the most amazing day. I hope today is the beginning of the greatest, most fabulously abundant year of your entire life.
Let's finish watching.
I just wanted you to know one of the best times I ever had was when it was the year 2000 and we were on a boat in New York City in the harbor. You made that the most fun. I think of you all the time. Happy birthday. And I do that for every person whose birthday it is. Voice memo. I want them to hear my voice. I'm not singing. I'm not doing any weird. I'm not putting on their wall HBD. Come on, guys. We're better than that. You say a personal message. Tell them something good about them, what you remember about them. I wish them always, though, that it's the beginning of the greatest year they've ever had, because I honestly want that for myself every year. I want it to be the banner year. And so when people hear that, what do you think they do? They write back and they go, that was really cool. That was awesome. Guess what that conditions your team to know? Reaching out to people is not scary. It's great. People like when you reach out to them. It also shifts the algorithm of Facebook. By the way, don't be surprised. Totally different people. Don't be surprised when that person writes you a couple days later and goes, by the way, I have been watching what you're doing and I've been so interested. I've been wanting to ask you. That good, all those good vibrations though, guys, they raise energetic magnetism in you. I can't leave a message to Daewee and not say, I feel so amazing. I feel amazing. Like when I was just smiling, remembering Daewee, that time we were living it up. I can't help but smile to think of that, right? And it changes you think of these people, you send them that kind of good love, it raises in you something totally different. So birthday messages are a big thing. The other thing that I try to do a lot of is add value. Again, there is zero expectation in me. It is just an exercise that I do, because the more value that you add into this world, guys, the more, I promise you, you will be blessed in return. 10x usually. And so here's an example. How many people on Facebook are using it for questions? Does anybody know a good roofer, as an example? I don't know a ton about roofing. I don't know roofers, but guess what? I know one of the greatest real estate agents around here who knows a zillion roofers. So I pop off a note, Joy Marie, who would you recommend someone use for a roofer? Have you used anyone recently? Oh yeah, Steve, awesome. You have his phone number? Great. Steve's phone number? Great. So I message back the person who on Facebook is posting looking for a roofer through a message, and I go, hey, I just heard from my girlfriend, Joy Marie, she's one of the top realtors in this area. The only roofer she would ever recommend is this guy named Steve. Here's his phone number. And let him know that Joy Marie referred you. I'm adding value. I don't know, I mentioned this story. This is an older story, but actually this girl is just doing some good things right now. So I'll tell you this story. I think I told this at one of the ICUs or maybe Celebration one year if anybody was there. So I'm in moms groups, a lot of local Philadelphia moms groups. And so there was a woman that I had seen in there, and I was like, yeah. Do everybody ever get focused in on someone in like a weird way? You start wondering about yourself. Cause I was like, this girl, this is our next executive right now. I don't even know her. She's going to be our next executive. I see her in this page. And so I send this girl a message and I go, listen, I have been watching what you're up to on social media. You would be amazing at what we're doing. I wanted to, and I send this, I follow the formula to the letter. Like, this is a great message. She's going to totally respond. And it was one of those where I'm like refreshing my page. She's gonna respond, guys, of course. So I write her back a second ago, hey, at the risk of being totally annoying, I just want to make sure that message came through. I really believe I have an opportunity that would be amazing for you, and I want to chat with you about it. No response. Shockingly, no response. Where'd you go? Like, is their internet connection okay? What's going on? So here's the deal. I see this woman and she posts a question in this mom's page. And she said she was looking to take her kids to some Philadelphia museums, and she was wondering just about some information. I have a ton of kids. Museums are my specialty. I don't know a lot about much, but museums. So I read her, I'm like, Target Tuesday at the Please Touch Museum. They've got free parking here. Never, ever go to this place on a Thursday. It's field trip day. This one is so good because they actually give out prizes to the kids. Story time at this one. Never ever go here. It's way too crowded, and there's a lot of real scary, sketchy people here hanging out at lunchtime. I give her a whole list of all the information. I wish that I should write a book that compiles Philly Children's Museum information. And she writes me back immediately. She goes, this was like the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. You're amazing. And by the way, I got your messages. I absolutely want to chat with you. What happens in life, guys? You add value to people and you get blessed back 10 times. So in all fairness, I didn't have to take the time to write her that, but in a quest to add value, if in Isogenics, this is a very special anointed company, and I've looked at them all. I know so many of the top leaders and the executives. Name a company. I could tell you their comp plan and so much about them. This is a special anointed company. It's the only company that would ever pulled me out of corporate America, and tell you that right now. And it set me free. It changed not only my family, it changed countless. There's 47 kids just in my county alone who, because we became foster parents, and I'm extremely vocal about our journey, about the need, the massive need that exists, how little it's being talked about, but the number of kids in the system dramatically exceeds the number of quality foster homes we have. 47 kids have had homes just in my county alone. And I just want to tell you guys, when you're ever feeling like, I don't want to share, you're making it about yourself. With love, I'm going to tell you, if you're not sharing this, we're being stingy. Janie Elo told me that, and it felt like a dagger in my heart a little bit. She said, when you know something like this and you know you could bless people with it, you know people are hurting, you're either sharing it or you're stingy. And she's right. She's absolutely right. Because honestly, if I would have kept it to myself, if the person who told me wouldn't have told me, if Janny Elo wouldn't have made a bold phone call, the ripple effect that's been set off is immeasurable. We had a foster son for 18 months. In a million years, I would have never thought he'd go home. His parents were raging heroin addicts. They were being arrested in front of him. The day I took custody of him, he was almost 3. He could only said 5 words. Had him for 18 months. I will tell you that not only did his parents, they just needed a little help. They needed a little help. How can we help if we don't have money and we don't have time? But I had both of those. So they needed a little bit of help. A little help with a townhouse, a little help with getting a car. I used to drive her to get her GED on Tuesday nights. Here are all my kids in the back. He's in a car seat and he's saying, Mommy, can you turn up the radio? And she said, I don't know if he's talking to me or you. But I will tell you now, praise God, he's back with his mom. He's been almost 2 years. I see him all the time. I receive texts from her all the time. On Mother's Day, believe it. The first message I always get on Mother's Day is from her with a card. It says, if not for you, I would never be here. I wouldn't be alive, let alone have my son back. And the testimony of their life is a ripple effect to other people. How many addicts she's talked to and said, you can get clean. This kid is amazing. I mean, from a kid who only said 5 words to now I tell him all the time, you can talk a dog off a meat wagon. He talks so much. He's athletically so gifted. He used to, when I got him, he would throw a ball to him and he wouldn't even react. No response at all. He would let the ball hit him in the chest. Now, I tell my husband all the time, like, I don't know if he's going to be in the NFL, the NBA. He's so unbelievably gifted. And so, guys, I'm not telling you that you have to become foster parents, but I am going to tell you that you will go out and leave the world better than you found it. And that is our obligation. You found something and people go, oh, it's network marketing. It's a shake company. You're ridiculous. It absolutely is so much more. Connect with people who need it. Get great at asking questions. Be really, really interested in people. Interested enough that you ask more questions, that you could write a doctorate. You could write a PhD paper on their life. Be interested in people. Care about their answers. When you respond to them, include what they said. My husband and I went to a great, and I don't know how, Amanda, you asked me to talk about things. I'm giving you so many different things, but I'm going to tell you, we went to this marriage, like it was like a counseling weekend. And it was so good for everything in my life. It's called Imago, IMAGO. There's books about it. Very fascinating concept. But one of the things that they teach you is really great communication. And so they talk about this concept of language mirroring. And so there's body, like physical mirroring. If I go for a job interview and the person is sitting with their hands back, maybe you sit casually with your hands back, and we instinctively like people who are sitting like us. You guys have heard of that, right? You're sitting the same way as me. So there's also language mirroring. So believe it or not, if Amanda said to me, Jessica, I am so interested in getting started with Isagenix because I am tired. Language mirroring is simply saying back, Amanda, I'm hearing you say you're interested in getting started on Isagenix because you're feeling exhausted. You're feeling so tired. Am I hearing you correctly? And it seems crazy, right? Because you're just repeating back to the person what they said and confirming your understanding of it. If you have children, it is one of the most beautiful things to children's ears to hear that you've listened enough that you're repeating back. You could have the easiest, people make communicating with their kids harder than it has to be. I always did, until I realized when my kids would walk in and like, Mom, you have no idea I was hitting every shot in my game today. Bud, you serious? You were hitting every shot in your game? Are you serious about that? Every shot. It starts talking so much. And that's language mirroring. It works so beautifully for the people who will join your team, the people who are growing on your team. Make sure people know that they're heard. When you're asking a lot of questions, confirm back to them. Note in your mind so much that you're so interested, not about what you're going to say next, but what they're saying. That's what it makes a good communicator. When saying people's names, the sound of their name is the most beautiful sound to a person, right? Not in a weird way. It's not every saying, Christine, hey, Christine, when I want to talk to you, Christine, like that, you're awkward, you're weird. But just knowing someone like, I love the name Christine. It's an amazing name. It's one of my favorite names, one of my daughter's middle names. I love that name. Just let people know they're seen. In all fairness, don't we all just want that? I want to be seen and heard. That's what people long for. And people say, oh, you're a good connector. No, I'm really fascinated in people, what makes them think. It's why I think I'm really open-minded about hearing people's views. I'm really interested. I'm never judgmental. The worst thing I ever did in Isogenics was two things. Sold people. Don't sell people. We're not in sales. I was a salesperson. So in the beginning, I was like, let's go. Morgan, do this with me. You're going to love it. Morgan's like, I'm not really ready and it's not really a good time. Morgan, it's money back guarantee. Crazy Larry's going out of business. You got to get this right now. We got to do it. You're going to do it. I believe in you, Morgan. Morgan, go. Guess what happens? You return. Hurt my feelings. But if you're like a couple of those stories where like there's probably 3 people that I can tell you, I sold them. They were not ready. I sold them. I tried to sell them. I tried to get them to buy my belief. Not the right timing. Round peg, square hole. Terrible. Returned. One of those girls, one of my greatest friends, came back and went crystal director in like 4 seconds because it wasn't the right time when I forced her, and she returned, but she came back and went crystal director because she's the right person. Looking for a profile of person. It's very simple. Influential, driven, networked, positive. If you're a tired mom who loves what I love, bonus. But it's very simple. That's who I'm looking for, and I love them. The second mistake that I made in Isogenics, so I made it personal. Like you were saying no to me. Like Kristen didn't like me. We're not that serious, guys. I remember a boss telling me, like, you think you're not that important. People aren't thinking about you. Because I remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm agonizing over this person that was in a deal that we were working on. He was like, one of the greatest lessons anyone ever taught me. You're not that important. No one's thinking about you. The only one thinking about you is you. And guys, I got to tell you, give grace in this business. If someone returns, love them anyway. It's not about you. It's about things you have no idea about. And so give grace. Love people anyway. The person like cancels their auto ship, returns their product, returns everything but a shake, calls and they give them their money back and they keep using the product even though got their money back. I don't care. Love you anyway. Love people through all the ugly and the bad. And oftentimes, if they're the right kind of person, they're back. And they love you because you didn't make it personal and weird. The people in this industry that are crushing it, that are stigmatizing it so that all of us have to work so hard to correct that stigma, that's the kind of stuff they're doing. Blocking people on Facebook, unfriending them, making it weird and personal and drama filled. If you build a team with people you love them, whether they do Isogenics or not. My love for people has become independent of this business. But guess what? When you love people like that, they want to grow with you. It's fun to be around those people, right? Isn't it fun to be around people like, I love you no matter what. You're my friend. I'm adding value to your life, whether you do Isogenics or you do a competing company, you never do company, you're like, swear off it. And then it also, in this business, a great way to connect with people is to really weed out the kind of people that you want to connect with. And then it's a great detox for your friends. We're cleansing our bodies and we're cleansing our circles because you'll start to notice who doesn't clap for you at all. And you can love them, but they don't need to be who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people like Amanda and Matt Svensson and watch. When I started using Amanda as an accountability partner, as someone to bounce ideas off of, my business started growing. Because I don't want to be the most successful person in the room. I want to talk to people like them and go, guys, what should I do? What are you doing? Make your circle the most up-leveled circle. If the people I'm hanging out with are like have no goals or broke, like think network marketing sucks, but it's cool to have a job for life. Just somebody can tell you when you can go to the bathroom, take a vacation, how much money you can make or not make. No, that's not the kind of friends I want. I want the kind of friends that are moving and shaking big dreams. But you know what? I want to tell you guys, for those of you, people raised their hands said they had kids. The greatest gift that my parents ever gave me. I had no idea until I was a grown-up that we weren't rich growing up. I thought we were rich. And honestly, it turns out the truth, we didn't have 2 dimes to rub together. But my parents gave me this money blueprint. There was always abundance, always enough. It was always plenty. I thought because the year that Cabbage Patch Kids were really hard to get, I had like 4. And my parents now would tell me, my dad passed when I was 20, but my mom will tell me the story that your dad, like we worked so hard to get you this couch. I never saw that. I never, ever saw that. And I want to tell you, like, if you have kids, the greatest gift you can give your kids is that. The money blueprint that says you can do anything. It's a success blueprint and there's no negative talk about money. I always just believed everything was possible. Unlimited amounts of money could come to me. Money is magnetizing. And I breathe that into my kids. I whisper to them when they're going to bed is that success finds you. You can do anything. Nothing. I tell my son, you're unstoppable. When I watch you play sports, nothing gives me more joy. You are unstoppable. You can do anything. Give that to your kids. This is a business that Amanda breathes that into all of you. I know it. She breathes it into me. Give that, pass that along to the next generation and dream with other people. Behind me, we do vision boards together. We dream as a family. May all this stuff come true. I don't know how closely you can see it. We want to go to Fiji, the whole family. And we stopped going to all these like extra little errands, like the Starbucks, the running, the whatever, nonsensical Chick-fil-A, mortgage the house, going to Chick-fil-A twice a week. We stopped doing that and we started putting it into a Fiji fund. Because if Doug and my husband and I win it, everybody wants to come. And I got a lot of kids. So that's a lot of not going to Chick-fil-A to pay for those flights. So Fiji's there. I want a new bathroom. I want the holiday dash bonus every single month, not just for me, but for people on my team. I've been messaging like a wild woman of everybody we can grab that money for. Trinity needs a new play set. We want to do this to our steps, if you can see it. Can you guys see? We want to make our steps like wood. Like these are all stuff my kids picked out. My oldest daughter is studying Greece. She wants to go there. Like, yes, let's dream as a family. We look at it all the time. We talk about it all the time. And so then when you're connecting with people, it becomes even more fun to be like, guys, I just found the most amazing people that want to dream too. And they come over to my house and they see that. I go, what's that? Like, that's our dream. It's our family dream board. Changes all the time. And so that's what I will just tell you. As you're connecting with people, find the people that want to dream with you. Those are my favorite people. People with certain quality sets. If you're doing takeaways from this call, and man, I'm going so long, but I'll tell you what I would do is I would get very clear on the qualities that you're looking for in people. I literally write this down every day. When my business is growing, when it isn't, I can promise you could look at the numbers and go, you weren't writing it down, right? You weren't writing your gratitude and your attraction statements, right? It has a direct correlation to growth. Today, I allow myself to attract people who are, and I write down the qualities. If you looked around my office, you'd find so many scraps of paper where I write this down. Today, I allow myself to pages and pages of today, I allow myself to attract people who are. Here I said, ready for change, have a success blueprint, outgoing, confident, fun, driven, self-motivated, competitive, kind, money-motivated, magnetic. And so I write down different things all the time, but usually it's influential, driven, networked, coachable, high money blueprint, high success blueprint. Those are the people I'm looking for. People who are fun, happy, positive, encouraging. People who are undeterrable, unstoppable. I want those kinds of people, but I write it down. Today, I allow myself to attract people who are. Second step, look at those qualities and say, am I those things? Am I those things? Be honest, because you'll attract who you are. And so anywhere where I say like, oh, I haven't been that coachable lately, I'm going to put focus there. I'm going to be coachable because I want to attract people who are coachable. So when Amanda tells me this is what she's doing, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to become coachable. If I'm being like super negative, like, terrible day, it's dark, it's whatever, it's cold, I'm going to start being more positive. I want positive people. You attract who you are. So write those down, go over them. Then this is what the secret is. There's a book that I read, changed my whole life. It's called, excuse me, My Life is Waiting. It's by a woman named Lynn Grabhorn. Great book to listen to if you have an Audible membership. I read it and I listened to it. Today, what she says is that the secret to law of attraction, like activating that kind of attraction magnetism, feel the emotion for 18 seconds, lock it, hold it in. The emotion is what draws people to you. Okay. So you're going to read that out. Today, I allow myself to attract people who are, and then I literally see them flooding in. I see people like Andrea and Betsy and Melissa and Tia. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. And I envision how that feels to run with these unbelievable people in our lives. I think about the trips that we'll all go on together. Fiji, team, 10, 15, 20 people and their families going to Fiji together. The name of the book is called, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting. It's by a woman named Lynn Grabhorn. I just love it. It's simple. It's excellent. But I'll just give you the spoiler alert that the main thing she's talking about is holding the power of that emotion. The emotion is the key, not just the vision. Like I'm excited thinking about people like you guys joining in a company and a team, locking arms, watching you guys grow, hitting Crystal Executive, being announced on stage, Kathy Coover calling you on the phone, you picking it up and be like, hi, Morgan, that you? Congratulations on executive. I imagine that and feel the emotion. Lock in 18 seconds. You got to make a list. I don't care if you've been in this company for Manda and I time. Make your list again, brand new. Think about who has those qualities. Think about who it is. And then the really scary people, call them first, because I promise you, in this economy, in this insane economy, where let me tell you something, my husband's a high school principal, still is. And people look at job security and usually teachers, principals, pretty secure. This upside down, wild season of our life, nothing is secure. No one has job security. Every person is looking to build an economic wall of protection around their family. And if they're not, you don't want them in your business anyway. You want forward thinkers. And I will tell you that I say to people, why? Okay, so obviously you're looking at creating a second stream of income. Every smart person I know is. This is why you need to look at this, because never in the history of a business has one been so squarely positioned at the center of every micro and macro trend on the lips of every smart economist and every average bear in America. What? Everybody wants proactive measures of health, right? Is everybody not talking about how do I bulletproof my immune system? How do I get healthy? How do I get off the COVID-19 weight? I can't stand myself. My stress is through the roof. Never before have more people been discussing and looking for health solutions. Never before have people been looking for, I don't know where you all live, but here where I'm in, outside of Philadelphia, there's only one school in our county, public school, that even had a choice not to be virtual. We don't even have it. My public school, my twins are in public school. They're only virtual, not a choice. There's no options. People are looking for a way to create income from home because parents are in jams. They're looking for online businesses because they don't want to spend any more time. They don't have time to give. Who are looking for secondary streams of income. The Google searches, as you probably all know, for work from home are up 300%. Work from home opportunities. People are looking for what we have. You're sharing it or you're stingy. I'm just being honest with you. We can make two choices here. We can do it in a kludgy. We can make three choices. We can do nothing. And that, if there's people out there that are on their knees praying for a solution you have, do something. Then you can go down the road of like doing it wrong, being a bad actor, but you're on Amanda's team. You're never doing this. You're not going to send make it weird with people. You're not going to do that. Then there's the third thing is we can just be great human beings. We can leave people better than we found them. We can be kind to them. We can respond with kindness. We can add value into their lives. And in doing that, you're either going to be sharing isogenics because it comes up in a course of conversation that you directed. Ask people about themselves. Ask them, are you open? You would be amazing at what we're doing. Are you open? Are you looking at any other streams of income? Are you looking for something? You'd be amazing at what we do. I say that to people that I believe it about all the time. Not looking for a pulse and a heartbeat. You're not. I know, Andrea, you're not looking for a pulse and a heartbeat because you don't want those people that you dragged and you sold and then you're like, oh, I got to do CPR at the morgue. These people are driving me bonkers, killing my energy. Heck no. You're looking for very specific people. If I think you'd be great, JC, you'd be amazing at what I'm doing. I love your energy. You have such social magnetism. You could literally post pictures of using blueberries as deodorant and that every produce section would be sold out. You have such influence. And so I say that to people. If I believe it about them, you'd be amazing at what we do. Have you ever looked at what we're doing? We have an online franchise, we have a virtual franchise in the health and wellness. So some people say they like the language that I use. So I'm going to slowly say that to you guys, just in case you want to use this. I often say to people, we have a virtual franchise in the health and wellness industry. We're partnered with a company that provides cutting edge science nutrition, the likes of which people have never seen results like this before. They have never seen anything like it. There's an opportunity to impact bodies and bank accounts. And I believe you can do it. Mandy, if I knew where you lived, I'd say, oh, Mandy, I believe you can do it across Minnesota, and really, truly in the world. And so that's how I'm describing this to people. And by the way, there's something I learned from Chris Harder. I say, it's in network marketing. Let's put it out on the table. I'm pretty proud of it. It's brilliant. People go, oh, is it one of those things like someone would ask me, is it a pyramid scheme? We can have another call to address how you deal with that. But I wanted to get it out there. It's a virtual franchise. And I go, it's in network marketing. Some people have a stigma about network marketing. When they look at what we're doing, they quickly realize what we're doing is different. It's network marketing. Right? I like telling people it's network marketing. And let's get your stigmas right out on the table. Some people have them. Do you have stigmas about network marketing? Cool, let's talk about it. What are they? Oh, the people at the top make all the money? Okay. That's kind of like Citibank. By your definition, I worked for a pyramid scheme. So you just want to get that out on the table with people like, hey, it's a virtual franchise. It's called the top-down presentation. And so I just want to encourage you guys, one of the things that people say to me is, oh, I'm not finding any builders. Ugh, I hate when you're speaking that language into me because you're like breathing into my pores because you're manifesting what you're talking about. But people say that, right? Has anybody ever said, I've said it, no one I'm bringing on wants to build. Well, there's two challenges with that typically. One is how we're advertising. Like I don't go to Home Depot ever to buy chicken breasts. Never. Why? Because they don't advertise that they sell them, right? You don't advertise what you want people to be doing, they're not going to ever come to you for it. It would be like going to Home Depot and be like, do you guys have grapes? No, we have never had grapes. Have you ever seen grapes in our ads? Never. We don't advertise for grapes. So you want to advertise and talk to people about what you want. The other part is you're only talking about the products. You're flashing product at everybody, product. Yeah, you got people that want the product. You've had 100% success. But the top-down approach, there's nothing more beautiful than the top-down approach. Everyone needs this opportunity. I don't care if they say they don't, they need it. I needed it. Janie Elo needed it. Matt and Amanda Svensson needed it. You all need it. We all need an extra stream of income to build a financial wall around ourselves and our families. We need it. Top-down just says, I'm going to tell you about the opportunity and the products. If you say no to the opportunity, promise you guys, the way that I'm describing the products, we'll go, wait, tell me what, I'm not interested in your opportunity. But the products, I'm interested in that. But you cannot reverse. It's very difficult. So imagine that if I went and I just said, Rachel, listen to me. I have these amazing products. They're fabulous, unbelievable, cutting edge science. You're going to be blown away. No. Rachel says, no, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to be blown away. I'm not interested in your products. Okay, Rachel, you're not interested in my products. What about the business opportunity associated with those products you're not interested in? Kind of hard, right? Kind of awkward, kind of weird. Rachel, I have an opportunity to create incredible impact and insane income. We have a virtual franchise opportunity in the health and wellness industry. Partner with the company that has cutting edge science nutrition, results you've never seen before. It's a network marketing. The products are like nothing people have ever, the results people can't even believe. Okay, not interested in your opportunity, but your products. I'm in on the products. And guess what happens? Because Rachel's the right kind of person. She fits today. I allowed myself to attract her. She has the qualities I'm looking for. I've hand selected her. Because of that, she gets the products in her body. And like probably so many of you on the call, she's like, the whole world needs to know this. She flips into a business builder. So I hope that this was helpful. I know I went long. If I can do it, do you guys see how it's almost like that squirrel syndrome that I have? And I gave you so many random items. I hope it was valuable.
You're
but
amazing.
If I can do it, you can do it. Holy cannoli.
You're amazing. Yeah, look at Tia. Tia has like pages of notes. I love it. So much good info and so many like amazing stories. I love the relatable stories. I think that's where we can really see and put ourselves in your shoes and how you are really talking to people. That really makes it like, oh, I can do this too. So I really love that about you. So incredibly much. So thank you for your time. You guys say so much love in the chat for Jessica tonight. I don't even know how you stay up this late. I feel like that's an East Coast thing.
Staying up late?
Yeah.
Sunday nights, yes, for sure. I get excited, man. Who can we get paid? Who can we help? I get excited. Sunday nights, it's hard for me to sleep.
Right. I get it. I get it.
All these people you have, Amanda, that are just going to bless, like these people on this call can be a ripple effect to impact hundreds of thousands of people. And what that means, people that'll never be in your downline, but will be impacted by the difference that you can make with this company. How can I sleep?
Right. For sure. For sure. Thank you so much for your time. So much value. Love you so much. Yeah. Have a great night. Thank you.